That exchange between Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jasmine Crockett, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez put a spotlight on the reality of what it is to be a woman of color, and particularly being a black woman in professional spaces that are usually majority white. Marjorie Taylor Greene insulted the appearance and the intelligence of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, one of her colleagues. It was a personal attack, an attack that had nothing to do with policy or even party affiliation. It was an attack that put Crockett in a position where she was forced to make a choice that many black women have found themselves having to make. Either sit there and allow Greene to insult and humiliate her, or stand 10 toes down on business and clap back. And by the way, I should mention that the men in this Congress have not behaved well by any means. In the last year alone, we've seen shouting matches unfold and even an invitation to fight from leaders in this, the least productive House in history. But when it's women having a go, and particularly when a black woman expresses any emotion, even in defense of herself, the attention tends to focus on her behavior, her qualifications, and her response to the provocation. And while that heated exchange has gotten a lot of play in recent days, it's important that we also show you this key moment from Congressman Crockett as well.
This idea of lacking all decorum, decency, has left the building when the stench of Donald Trump showed up. And so we've seen constantly from him how he mocks people. We've seen in this committee how different members want to mock other members. And that's all this is about. If this was so important as it relates to whether or not the President of the United States has done something so wrong, then why is it that we couldn't have our hearing at 11 o'clock this morning instead of members being in a criminal courthouse with a twice impeached, over 88 count indicted sexual abuser, instead of being here to do the work of the American people if this was serious?
Joining me now is Representative Jasmine Crockett herself, a Democrat from Texas and the member of the House Oversight Committee. Good morning, Congresswoman. Bleached, blonde, bad built. Ma'am, we've been here before, and I feel like, what in the BBL Drizzy is going on in the halls of Congress?
Listen, I was so frustrated because we are always told that we are supposed to play within the systems and let the systems work. This is yet another example of when it comes down to seeking justice for someone that looks like me, it's like the system doesn't really know what that looks like. And so absolutely, she was what we call engaging in personalities, and therefore her words were to be stricken, and therefore she was to be kicked out of committee for the rest of the evening. But instead, that is not what the chairman did. And the idea that I should just sit there and pretend that I'm on the plantation and that we are not both duly elected members of Congress and I'm just supposed to take it, I did not lodge back with another personal attack against her. I asked for clarification and a hit dog hollered.
You know, I am very aware that as a man, I occupy a particular privileged space in this conversation. And so I would like, in your own words, can you talk to our viewers about the nuance of what it is to be a woman of color, a black woman in particular, in these sorts of spaces, and be faced with the dichotomy of choice around how you respond to an attack like that, without necessarily having the emphasis being placed on your response, your professionalism, your lack of class, or whatever else people have said about how you chose to address your colleague in this manner?
You know, one of the great things about me and the space that I occupy is my district. I represent for Texas 30. I don't represent for anybody else. There's only one group of people that elect me, and my district is a very diverse district. My district has so many black women, and beyond that, they have been so supportive. They have allowed me to be who I am. They encourage me to be who I am because I really am doing and experiencing things that so many other black women are experiencing, but unfortunately, their stories aren't highlighted. And I also took this as an opportunity to, again, flex on MAGA and let them know that I will always be smarter than you. You can call me a DEI hire all you want to and lodge all the other insults that they continuously lodge against me. But she is no match for me when it comes to intellect. She just decided, oh, you know what? I've got privilege, so I'm just going to say whatever I want to say and then lean back. And that's exactly what she did. And she knew that she would face no consequences, or at least she thought she would face no consequences. I refuse to be somebody's doormat. And anybody suggesting that I should, I need you to look in the mirror and maybe check yourself if you believe that it's okay for her to say whatever she wants to say to me, and the role that I'm supposed to play is one that says, oh, okay, well, I know she didn't really mean it, or it wasn't really that bad, or it's more important that I just sit here and be docile. That's not who I'm going to be.
Congresswoman Crockett, really quickly, you know, you sit on the House Oversight Committee. There's so much important work that you all do. Is there any concern that these sorts of exchanges can create a distraction for the actual work that has to get done? How can we expect, or when can we expect to get some clapback legislation?
Well, we're not going to get any legislation out of this committee. And actually, I shouldn't say it that way, because earlier this week, I absolutely did get something out of this committee. Of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene did not vote for my legislation, which was valuable legislation to make sure that our service members are able to hopefully keep their spouses with them as they are deployed. So spouses of service members that actually work for the federal government, basically, I have legislation that allows for reasonable accommodations so that it's not a matter of mom needs to stay here while dad goes there. Instead, mom and dad can be together. And of course, the party of family values and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world voted against it. I will say that this did come out of committee in a bipartisan way. And so hopefully we can get that onto the floor, and hopefully we can get that to the president's desk. But overall, it has been nothing but a sideshow. And honestly, Marjorie is always in the middle of the controversy. If you'll recall, she's the one that brought pornographic photos to the committee. It has been nonsense the entire time.
All the smoke, and she's ready for it. Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas, thank you for your time as always.